Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, UFC is going to Saudi Arabia for the first time ever, which is kind of odd to say because I think the major investors of the UFC are from Saudi Arabia. But
Right.
whatever. UFC Saudi Arabia is heading to UFC is heading to Saudi Arabia for the first time, and they had a pretty sick main event for that region, which was Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat was here when they announced that fight. Actually, he was here training. He had been here for like 2 months, I think. He was here for a while.
He was here I want
He
to say
just
like
showed up out of nowhere.
7-8 weeks. Yeah.
And then was here for a while, right? In and out of the gym.
Yeah.
And then I remember they announced a fight while he was here, and then he took off. But now there's a video, or not a video. They announced that Khamzat is out of his fight due to health problems, and this is very concerning, to be honest with you, because health problems. It's like, what is it? What is the health problems?
Yeah,
dude?
I mean,
the photo.
Dana White said he was violently ill.
Yeah, that's he's just
which
adding
doesn't
that.
say
He's just
much.
adding on top of it. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
know. It's like, thanks.
Is he gonna die? Like,
Yeah.
what's violently ill? Like, what's
Yeah.
violent? Like, is he like looking like the what is that movie? The Poltergeist. The girl that's like,
yeah.
Is he like? Is that
Head
violently
is doing
ill?
360s.
Yeah. But the photo that they posted, his teammate Guram posted a photo of him in the hospital and their coach sitting next to the bed, and didn't look very good.
No.
And now there's talks of retirement. This illness could lead to Khamzat Chimaev's retirement. Max, what do you think, man?
I mean, and we kind of made comment about this before the podcast, but like, it's unfortunate because for Chimaev, a lot of his sort of narrative has been health and sort of, he's only gotten to fight top fighters a couple times, and a lot of the time, the issue is that he doesn't make it to the fight, or it gets canceled, or something happens where he's just unable to fight for the title, fight for this, fight for that because of health, right? I remember he was talking about retirement when he had COVID in, I think it was 2021, spring of 2021. And that was like the first time there was sort of like health issues with him. And then it's just been on and off since. And I'm sure it's played a role in some of his weight misses, anything. So it's hard because, I mean, we watched him train out here. He trains like a monster, right? But, I can say from firsthand experience, it sucks when your body just fails on you.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just frustrated because it's just like, well, why does this keep happening? Or why,
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it's the intensity in which he's training that's affecting his immune system on some level to get, to have this.
I once had a coach say that it's hard to overtrain, but it's easy to under rest.
Uh-huh.
And, it could be that his recovery is not, at least maybe not good enough for the health issues that he has, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But to be a professional athlete, it's very difficult to take rest and be like, oh, I'm doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seems like the type to probably just push through it to the point where he's hurt, sick. His body just goes, nope.
Yeah, and we saw it on Fight Island. Like, he took that one fight and then fought a week after. Just logistically was much easier to do, but people hadn't done that before, before that.
Yeah, he still holds the record, right, for back-to-back closest fights.
I think so.
Because I think before him, it was 13 days or something, and his was
It's like a week,
it was
7.
yeah. But, yeah. it's unfortunate.
He came in, you know, I mean, like a storm,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and once Dana White saw like what he was doing, and he started to, you know, promote him.
Yeah, because
You know what I mean? He started to be one of his guys, you know what I mean, that he likes.
Yeah, 'cause-
Then that was the
I
beginning.
think that's part of what impressed Dana, that he was like was willing to
And it was on
fight
Fight Island as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can't go anywhere. So
Right.
you're running into everybody all the time, and you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah.
if I was him, I would be like trying to talk to Dana in the hotel somewhere, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and yeah, like he blew onto the scene, and he did incredible things that nobody has done before, and he was the next coming of Habib,
Yeah.
right? Like that type of level, that type of stardom, right? He was the next one.
Yeah, the hype
And,
train was real.
If anything, he did almost more amazing things in the way that he had fights where he literally did not get hit at all.
Yeah.
And then he just,
Yeah.
you know, what he did to Leach was insane, right? Ducks under the punch, picks him up, carries him, talks to Dana White,
and then
brings
brings him down,
Smash.
him
finishes
down
him.
and finishes him.
Smash.
So, yeah, I mean, just
Yeah. What he did to Jared Mershard, one shot.
One
dude.
shot.
Like, just knocked him out, dude. It was incredible. And we'll go back to like the first time he retired, right? This was it was he took a year off, right? Between September 2020 to October 2021. And that's when he had got COVID in Vegas. And then,
Yeah.
you know, he was supposed to fight before he got COVID? Leon Edwards.
yo, seriously.
He was booked to fight Leon Edwards in
Right.
a welterweight fight
Yeah,
Damn.
December 2020.
actually, now that you say it, yeah.
Like that
That'd be a big-
that was the beginning of the end right there.
That'd be a big change to the timeline. if
Yeah,
that took
it would have been
place.
completely different.
Yeah,
right?
you like Leon, if he would have lost that, would he even been fighting for the title? Like there's just
Yeah.
a lot of things like history, you know what I mean? Like you could kind of speculate and like,
Yeah.
oh, twists and turns and all that. But he got hurt, or not hurt, he got COVID. And then he had to pull out because of complications. And we've seen people die from COVID. We've seen people have long-term complications from COVID.
Yeah.
And it looks like Chimaev is that could be what's going on. You know what I mean? Like he's just having lingering complications.
He might
or-
have scarring
co-
on his lungs or something. You know?
And COVID is still around. It's not like it's not around, right? We just don't. I think it's less prevalent here.
Right. Yeah.
And even when COVID was big, it was less prevalent here. Remember,
Yeah.
we were here for a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You
Even
guys
before
were.
Max and everybody else started showing up.
Right.
Before the gym.
yeah.
Yeah, people were quicker, I think, here to accept it as like, oh, it's just part of whatever world.
Yeah,
we're in
but
now.
it's like people really didn't even have it that much.
right.
Nobody
You know what I
had
mean?
it in
'Cause we
Hong
were
Kong.
like isolated.
Yeah.
It was really isolated.
Yeah,
but
we were fairly lucky.
yeah,
out here.
so like there have people, people have lost lives, and some fighters that are not as famous as Chimaev have pretty much disappeared from the scene and retired, and because they just can't train. You know what I mean? If you have COVID, you're not going to be able to train like you normally do. It's just not going to happen.
right.
So like basically what was going on is he was having breathing issues. He was having blood, like he was coughing up blood during that time, and
Yeah.
that means that his lungs were being attacked. Like you said,
Yeah.
scarring of the lungs, the damage maybe to the lungs, and that's what led to him announcing his retirement online, right? And then he came back because you know who convinced him?
Yeah.
Dana White,
Yeah.
and also the Chechen leader,
Yeah.
so to say. I think he probably had a little to do with that as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
But now, man, it's like, fuck all those dudes. Chimaev just needs to look out for himself.
I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
day, health is health,
Yeah,
right? Like,
take your time.
don't-
He's not old either.
no.
Yeah, take your time and come back.
Don't die. You know what I
Don't,
mean?
exactly.
Like, look, like he's enough of a legacy, already made enough of a legacy. He's enough of a boogeyman that he can take some time,
Yeah.
and like actually let his immune system. You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, build up the immune system again.
Yeah,
like
that's
go
what I
through
mean,
go
like-
through a protocol. Go see the best doctors, the specialists. It's not like he doesn't have money.
Yeah.
It's not like the UFC is not going to provide these things.
Exactly.
He also has the Chechen leader guy.
Yeah.
who's
Right.
probably have coffers of money like all over
Yeah.
the country, right?
And
the
the thing is that now is the time to do it, right? Because unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but his last 2 fights, he fought 2 guys in a lower weight class and everything that came up, and they were both close fights, right?
Right.
Now, it was bloody Gilbert Burns and
Yeah,
Usman.
and Usman,
I mean,
right.
so two like greats,
yeah.
you know, but you know, he was shown to be human.
Right.
I think before he takes that risk of maybe losing his first fight in the UFC or something, get this fixed, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, you can not look back and be like, oh man, my legacy got tainted because of this or that. Which, I mean, a loss isn't gonna taint your legacy, but
Right.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's got that kind of leeway and wiggle room with the fans. Like
100%.
they'd probably understand.
That's very interesting that you bring that up now, is because after that Leon Edwards fight fell through because of his sickness, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came back in October 2021 in Abu Dhabi, and he beat Li Jingliang at
Yeah.
welterweight,
Yeah.
and then he fought Gilbert Burns at welterweight and kind of looked more human, right? Like
Yeah.
arguably Gilbert Burns maybe won that fight. Some people
I
think.
thought Burns won that fight.
And then he fought Kevin Holland,
That's
which was
right.
a stylistic matchup, which was great for him.
Yeah,
And he missed
that was
weight.
meant to.
It was like a big shuffle thing. And
Oh,
then,
that's right, yeah.
then he beat Usman at middleweight, which was a short notice Usman.
Yeah.
Coming up from welterweight.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason why he did look more human in his last couple of fights, or a couple of the fights, is because the level of competition, as well as maybe his health wasn't very good
Right.
the whole time. And he was just fighting because he loves to compete. You know, fighters, they'll mask so many things just to be fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
2 fight camps ago, I had an ear infection and literally was on antibiotics all the way up until fight day, right? Like if we're training, you know, and you got to keep in mind, like, we don't get paid until we fight, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
so there's that, but also it's just like, that's like 6 weeks of my life that I've dedicated to those 15 to 25 minutes. I want to show what I'm working towards, because that's 6 weeks of camp. I train year round, you know, like we're always working, right? As we were talking about this earlier as well, I think a lot of fans think, oh, well, they just show up for 15 minutes and then get paid and stuff. No, it's like the amount of skill acquisition, the amount of pain, the amount of everything that you're fighting through. You know, if he's training with scarred lungs, that's got to be painful, right? For any fight cancellation and everything, you're laying there in a hospital bed thinking, man, like, I put myself through all that pain and I didn't get the payoff. That sucks.
It definitely sucks, man. And right now, Chimaev is 30 years old, and he
He's
just
young,
turned 30 in
Right.
May. So I think maybe he was here during his birthday.
Might have been.
That's just recently, right? May is like
May.
like a month and a half ago or a month
He,
ago.
he
right?
might have left before.
I thought he left like April
But yeah,
or
but
late April.
you know what? I think Chimaev, he needs to just take care of his health
Yeah.
and come back when he's ready to come back on his own terms.
I think so.
And whenever he does come back, there's going to be big fights for him.
Yeah.
No one's going to forget him.
Right.
But if he does retire, he is without a doubt the biggest what if. He is. The biggest what if ever. Who's bigger what if than him? Somebody that retired early due to sickness. There's the Zabit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
There's Zabit, but
Zabit.
he didn't have the level of stardom as Khamzat
No, yeah,
Chimaev,
yeah.
True.
right?
Zabit is more like more hardcore fans love Zabit.
Yeah.
Zabit's a more hardcore. Yeah, you're right. Because if you ask fans right now
Who
that just
Zabit
started
is.
watching the UFC in 5 years, from 5 years ago, they would have no idea who Zabit was.
Yeah.
They have no idea. They would be like, Zabit could have been the greatest featherweight of all time. He's a big what if. But I think Khamzat Chimaev, if he doesn't fight again, he's the biggest what if.
Well, also because
Ever.
he's mainstream, because this,
Yes.
because that,
Yeah.
And multiple divisions, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he could fight. He has a different skill set too.
But
than,
I think
Zabit.
even you know, him coming back and everything, I don't think he'll retire. But you know, one of the great, you know, what ifs will always be, what if he never got COVID? What if that train didn't get derailed for a moment?
Yeah.
You know,
It's wild that, like, people, like you say that his train was derailed, but it's not even derailed due to a loss.
no, exactly.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what actually
Circumstances
makes
outside.
it more bittersweet.
Yeah.
Right. True.
It's just it's like a sad story to tell in fighting, because there's so much sacrifice in fighting, that all the sacrifice that Chimaev has made throughout the years, and the risks he's taken and coming out the other end, like as
Right.
the winner,
Yeah.
every single time. And he doesn't get to see how far he can go with this.
Yeah, and there's definitely this perception that like these health issues are less predictable and more out of your control than, let's say, like somebody who just can't stop getting injured and therefore cannot like train or fight. So then it's because then, like, you know, we can definitely think of at least a few fighters, right, that just get injured all the time and because of that cannot show up consistently. But then there's significantly less fighters that run into health issues like this where they're like, ah, crap, like we don't know what to do about this, because the injuries are much more visible, right? Like we were talking about how broken bones seem more extreme than brain damage because they're more visible, although brain damage would be like the long-term consequential thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, lung damage. No one's like watching somebody in the training room be like, yeah, that fool got lung damage. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's
Oh,
wrong with his
shit.
lungs? Like you see, like,
She's like, oh my God, that man, he's training so hard with all that scarring on his lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because like normal training would be like, yeah, like what's wrong with his like knee? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
didn't look like it. It
Just
bent
like,
right.
oh shit, look at that man box with that brain damage.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of brain damage is he taking? Like he's taking too much. Like there's no like level. You cannot gauge
Right.
brain damage. It's like
Yeah.
you cannot gauge lung damage. You
Yeah.
have no idea unless you're the doctor. You get
Yeah.
examined. That's why Khamzat, man, I hope he does come back, because like it's better to have these types of fighters around the world, man. Like you have Khamzat from Sweden, Chechnya, whatever, Russia, whatever you want to call it. And he's like this character. It's like Street Fighter. You got McGregor in Ireland. You know what I mean? You got like, you had the Korean Zombie in Korea. You know what I mean? Like you got Kai Asakura from Japan now.
Yeah.
It's real life
Wei
Street Fighter.
Li, China,
Yeah,
you
got
know what
Wei
I
Li
mean?
in China. Exactly, right? Like you go to Brazil, you got Pereira. You know, what I mean?
It makes me think of that map. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it
That
is.
Street Fighter map. You
It
go on a
is.
character, it shows their origin.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt, it is. It's just he makes the sport much better
Yeah.
when he's fighting.
We need a
It's
Blanca.
much more exciting. Yeah, we do need a Blanca. Well, that's Pereira, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Blanca's
We didn't get a
Pereira.
Blanca, but
We
we got
had
a Chama.
Guile, which was GSP.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
true.
He was like the soldier looking dude, Guile. And then who's Chung Lee? That's Wei Li, I guess.
I guess.
But there's probably some guy watching this right now gonna take this clip and they're like, "You're talking shit about Wei Li.
You about to
We're
get
not.
canceled,
We
son.
love Wei Li.
You called her Chung Li for Street Fighter. You're not even Asian." No.
Oh dear.
Just a reminder, I'm from Hong Kong.
No, he has a pass.
Yeah, the Asian card.
He has a
whatever that is.
pass.
I-
He
I
has
get the egg pass.
He's got everything. He's got everything possible you need.
Yes.
Right? He probably eats more noodles than you.
Yep.
I eat a
You
lot
know
of
what I
food.
mean?
Spicier than you.
You know, that cracks me up. But yeah, Khamzat Chimaev, we're rooting for you to come back
Yeah.
and come back to Thailand. We want to see you healthy.